Welcome to the Mill Brook Railroad, and today we're going to take care of a problem that's been plaguing us for years, that of track geometry versus the plow. Now this plow gets a lot of love and hate on this channel anytime we dig it out, and the hate that it gets is because it derails a lot, but it derails in specific locations, and that I've figured out over the years plowing with this machine. So let's take a look at those locations where this plow derails. And we're going to fix it today. Okay, sorry I'm not using a lapel mic. I haven't been working. So right now I'm going to lift a low spot right here, just beyond the switch. And we'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about track geometry, curves. Think about curves in 3 dimensions, not just horizontally, but vertically as well. Your height and your width and your depth. So we've got a curve here. Yes, it looks like a straightaway. It looks like it's got a slight curve to the left, but it's got a severe curve down, and that's what we're working out of the track right now. Just as simple as lifting the rails right up out of the ballast. And you've got to taper it. An important thing in curves, in any direction, horizontally or vertically, you have to spiral in and spiral out. So if you don't, you end up with derailments. Sometimes those spirals can work themselves out as you use the track. As the track gets beat up and worn down, as the ballast sinks into the dirt, it becomes less and less effective. See right here, I lifted the track up pretty much out of the ballast. There's nothing in the cribs anymore, and I need to come in and add more stone. I know I just added more stone back in November, but now I've got to add a bunch more because there's not enough right here to hold the track together. So before I do that, I'm going to tamp this in place and jam what's here underneath the ties. This is not wasted effort. Although methinks the ties doth protest too much. There we go. That is well supported now. I can walk on it. I can still feel it move, but the sponginess that I'm feeling on my feet is probably the rotten ties. So next thing I need to do down here in this area is replace ties. Constant maintenance. But you have to support those ties really, really well. It's kind of like laying a dry stone wall. You have to support it. You can't let it rock. You have to support it along the whole bottom. So that's what keeps the railroad track from going all over the place, higgledy-piggledy, and all that sort of stuff. So let's take a look at the gaps between the ties that I just made. Right down here, I pretty much emptied the cribs. The cribs are the spaces between the ties, by the way, in case you didn't know. And I'm going to have to come down through here and fill those back up again. Now you notice I didn't do it with a level. I didn't do it with any other tool. I just eyeballed it, which means it may be wrong, but it's mostly good. I mean, I still have to do some more fine tuning on it. I've got to replace ties, so that's going to affect the way it looks once I'm completely finished, but I can at least go over this at a restricted speed. And the plow, let's see, this is our test, that the leading edge of the plow here leaves the rails. Any further than it's off the rails now, then we know we're not done. I just kind of did the same thing right here behind the plow. So let's clamp the camera at the front of the plow. Let's see what this looks like. You know, it's always good to step back and look at what you've done from a distance. And what you can't see up close, you can often see from far away. And maybe you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. I definitely have a long way to go before I'm done working this dip up out of the track. And I've got a lot of ballast to lay, which means I should probably replace some ties first, or just work that dip out. That's a fairly severe horizontal curve right there. I have to take that out. So I guess I'll do that before changing ties. Yeah, variables, you know. I'm sure by now all the track professionals are furiously typing on your keyboards. Hold off for a minute. I'm not a professional. Nor do I play one on YouTube. And before you say the FRA will never allow that, think about what you're typing first. This is aluminum rail, 7 1/4 inch gauge. The FRA wouldn't allow that either. But physics is physics. And mass doesn't scale, neither does water. And all this is about managing balance and managing water. We want to keep the trains balanced. We want to keep them happy so they don't fall off the track, and that's a real drag for anybody, everybody. Back up and take a look at what I've just done.
Made a huge difference from over there.
And do I look at that in shame, or do I look at that in pride? Okay, I'm kind of liking the way this curves. It looks like it's about maybe a 60 foot radius horizontal curve. I think I can live with that for right now. That lets the plow come down and dip, and it hopefully that doesn't make the front blade of the plow scrape the rails. We're only going to find that after I do some tamping. It was down a little bit, not as bad as it was. The nice thing is, the blade doesn't leave the rails. I think that is satisfactory, at least for right now. I know that I have to replace some ties. I've got to do a bunch more geometry work in that area, because there were other issues going down through there which definitely need to be addressed. But at least we got the vertical curves addressed, and that was something that had been bothering me for a long time. Certainly it's not perfect track, but the front of the plow looks like it's not going to lift off the rails and cause the front wheels to build up with snow and ice. That is exactly what I was trying to solve. So I'm going to call this done for now. We certainly have a lot more work to do to the track. There's a lot more wrong with the track than just the vertical curves that I straightened out. But you know, let's do one thing at a time, right? So that's what we did. We'll have to replace ties. We'll have to do a lot more track geometry work on this. And to be honest, I'd really like to replace the rails, but I've got to do the curves first. Curves come first, and then if I have any rail left over, then I'll replace the straightaways with heavier rails. So that's the philosophy on this particular kind of job today. So that's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the problem-solving process that we went through. Didn't have to use any special tools. Didn't use any tools at all except the tamping rod, and that is just a piece of 1/2-inch rebar that I don't even remember how I got it. I've got a bunch of them though. That's what we use for tamping rods. So there we go. Join us over on Patreon if you want to help support the channel in a more substantial way. Patreon.com/Mill Brook Railroad, where Patreon members get early access to our videos and some exclusive content. We discuss some of the projects that we have ongoing here, and I ask your opinions. Actually, recently, my Patreon members helped decide which version of a video went out, and you could become one of those people. Patreon.com/Mill Brook Railroad. If you want to know more about the railroad, go to millbrookrailroad.com. We'll see you in the next video. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not quite where I want it, but it's better than it was. Oh well.